Morning. I'm here to review Keeping Up with the Joneses. Starring Zach Galifianakis, John Hamm, Isla Fisher, and Gal Gadot. Now, Keeping Up with the Joneses, it starts with Zach Galifianakis and Isla Fisher. They're this couple who live in this cul-de-sac in suburban America. Well, okay, it's Atlanta, Georgia, and they don't in the film they don't say it's Atlanta, Georgia because well, you learn of it when you see the fire truck or when you see the police cars and fire trucks, and then they say or license plates that say Georgia, but it's Atlanta, Georgia. Anyone who's Googled downtown Atlanta on Google Earth will recognize the oh, that's Atlanta, Georgia. But Zach Galifianakis and Isla Fisher, they're husband and wife. They live in the suburbs. Zach Galifianakis, Isla Fisher is just this housewife, or maybe she works, but then her 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 occupation is unknown. And Zach Galifianakis, he works in the human resources department of this defense contract company. One day, one of their neighbors sell their house, and are moving out, and then where these new residents are moving in, and they didn't even come by and visit to see the house. They saw it online over the internet, and they're just moving in. Well, sooner or later, it turns out this couple coming in is John Hamm and Gal Gadot, and after a chaotic day at work, Zach Galifianakis comes home, and like, who are the new neighbors, and are you spying? And cracks his joke like, are you spying on the neighbors? And then he turns around and lo and behold, oh yeah, it's John Hamm and Gal Gadot is sitting in the living room, and they talk, and they socialize and get to know each other, and are immediately friendly. And John Hamm gives them a gift. He's this John Hamm is to be this this travel guide, and Gal Gadot is this cooking blogger, and she's from Greece. Well, and then they're friends, and then there's this barbecue, and one of the neighbors, I don't remember this actor's name, the neighbor who previously lived in the house, the wife, she was like, oh, Gal Gadot, like picks on Gal Gadot like because of her dress, like like, oh, it's a slutty dress and it's pornographic and blah blah blah. I'm like, and Isla Fisher kind of defends her, and then the husband to this snotty bitch challenges Gal Gadot to play darts, and I don't know the actor's name, but the husband is played by the dude who's Mark Wahlberg's dickish boss in Ted 1. That it's that dude, and it turns out that Gal Gadot he challenges Gal Gadot to some darts, and she beats him, and and then Isla Fisher goes back to the house. She sees John Hamm snooping around, and when she catches him, he pretends like he's trying to use the bathroom, and he's lost, and he's coming out he's coming out of the den. Well, there's a big difference between a den and a bathroom, right? One event leads to another, and there's they one day Isla Fisher discover the gift that the glass gift, funny looking gift that John Hamm gives them. They make out. Isla Fisher and Zach Galifianakis, they start making out. His foot jerks and kicks over the vase, and they discover a bug, and so they're like, what John Hamm and Gal Gadot, like, who the hell are these people? And so they sooner or later, yeah, they discovered that they're spies, and this was a spies. And what can I say? The chaos presumes, but okay. I will say that the I like some of the action sequences. It was really original. The action was okay. I mean, it was really original. Like there's like the chase scene, the car chase scene. There's the bad guys in the motorbikes, and John Hamm is driving the car. John Hamm, Gal Gadot, Isla Fisher, and Zach Galifianakis. They're all in the car, and when it's to the end of the chase, the bad guys threw a bomb onto the back of the car. Zach Galifianakis, goes out, reaches and throws it to Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot throws it in between the there's two motorbikes coming away, and she shoots the sawed-off shotgun, and boom, the bad guys blow up with the bomb that they tried to strap onto their car. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool in movies when you see bad guys are killed by their own weapon. Yeah. I don't know. I would say this movie has a good premise, but it's undone by uneven acting and a not so an unconvincing villain. I mean, Isla Fisher and Zach Galifianakis, they were a little over the top in their performances. Like, they did it's like they did like the really cheesy eighth grader kind of comedy where they scream, they shout, they trip over things, they knock over things, they hit their heads, they bump their heads, and okay, and what can I say? Some jokes fell flat. The jokes fell flat, mostly coming from Galifianakis. On the other side, John Hamm and Gal Gadot, they seem to have had decent chemistry. And they were very chill and very subtle in their roles. I mean, John Hamm did. When it comes to, I mean, yes, he's known for Mad Men, but hey, his jokes landed more than Zach Galifianakis when they were in the Cobra bar, and he says, "Oh, I guess if you tell me such and such a secret, you'll have to kill me." I mean, very, very self-depreciating kind of humor. Whereas Zach Galifianakis was just always, his jokes was just flat and just didn't make me chuckle, but or didn't make me relate to his joke. I was like, oh, well, what the fuck. But John Hamm, when he said that line, "Oh, you'll have to kill me," is like, okay, this is a dude who can laugh at himself a little bit. So I immediately related to that. Then when they came time for the villain, it's like, oh, you see the camera coming up, like you see a gun stuck in some dude's belt. I'm like, oh well, who's this Billy Badass? And it's like when the camera pans up to the face, it's like, oh shit, it's Spencer from King of Queens. I'm like, oh my god, is this the best they can do for a villain? Okay, yeah, I pretty much, many times, people who know me, I tend to knock Topher Grace in American Ultra as a weak villain, but I'm sorry, but Patton Oswalt as the villain in this movie, he pretty makes Topher Grace's performance in American Ultra look Oscar worthy. The sad part about this movie, it's directed by Greg Mottola. I mean, the guy who is responsible for Superbad and Adventureland, the first, which is okay, yeah, the first movie, the first outing where we have Kristen Stewart and Jesse Eisenberg together. I mean, like, oh boy, Like, it's like, okay, I get it that Adventureland was the last thing he directed. So, what happened? What, Mr. Motolo? What happened, dude? Did you lose your mojo in the 7 year break? Yeah. Well, I would give this movie. This movie, I will say, if you're someone looking for super sophisticated fare, you're not getting with this movie. It'll probably be a snooze fest. But if you're just a guy if you're just trying to stay out of the house, well, it's a guilty pleasure. You spend a couple hours out of the house at the theater. But I give it 2 out of 4 stars. And is it really worth? Is it really worth the $12 I paid at the AMC theater at the Block here in Orange County? Not really. It's probably worth the $7 matinee at the Regency Westminster. But that's all I can say. That's my review, and you have a good one.